Written by Alphonse Daudet. The last lesson is about a school going boy named Franz who didn't want to go to his school as he was scared of his teacher M. Hamel. The story is set in the background of a battle of First World War. In this battle, Prussia defeated France and they passed an order on France that in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine, the two districts of France, the French language will not be taught, rather than German language would be taught. Franz, who is a school going boy, he wanted to spend his day out instead of going to school and get a scolding from M. Hamel for not doing his work on participles. But somehow he resisted himself and reached the school. On reaching the school, he found the atmosphere of the school was altogether different. The whole atmosphere was very serious and solemn. And M. Himmel, the teacher, who was very strict otherwise, was very polite towards him. There were villagers sitting on the back benches, and then he also noticed that M. Himmel was wearing his special dress. He could not understand the reason of these changes, but then M. Himmel announced to class that this was their last lesson in French language, as from next day onwards a German language teacher would come and teach them German. These words were a thunderbolt for Franz, and he thought that he was very wrong in wasting his time and as well as not learning his lessons properly. When M. Himmel asked him to recite participles, he could not, and he was blaming himself. At the same time, M. Himmel blamed also the parents that they were not interested in sending their children to the school, rather, they used to send them to work in some form to get some money. M. Himmel also blamed himself for not teaching the students properly. Many a times, when he did not want to teach, he sent them to water his plants or he called them to give a holiday only so that he could go for fishing. M. Himmel stressed upon the students the importance of French language. He told them that the French language was the most beautiful and most logical language, and they should guard it amongst themselves. As according to M. Hemel, a language for our country is its key to prison. The villagers who were sitting in the classrooms, they also realized that they were very wrong in ignoring the learning of their language. But now it was very late for them. M. Himmel gave his last lesson on that day and he taught the students history, alphabets, and he also gave something to draw to little children. Then he recited alphabets in the classroom, and the old villagers also recited them after him. In this way, everyone in the class was very sad, and Franz remembers very clearly that how he remembered that M. Himmel was so emotional that day that he wanted to fix everything in his gaze, the scene of his class, the things around him, and the whole village that he used to serve for the past 40 years. Now it was time to dismiss the class. M. Himmel stood up and wrote very large on the blackboard, Vive la France, which means Long live France. And after this, with a gesture, he asked the students to go away. And it was the end of the last lesson.